Hi there, this is Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a 1996 Toyota Crown Majesta. The Majesta version of the Crown is, at least for this generation, was known as the V8 version of the Crown, where typically the Crown would come with either a 2.5 liter inline 6 or 3 liter inline 6, depending on the configuration. The Crown is on the same chassis as the GS300 or the Toyota Aristo, except this one here with the V8 has the chassis code UZS, and this is a 150 series. So this is a UZS 151. And this one was bought from a dealership here in Japan for export over to the USA. Yes, you can buy from a dealer if you want. We usually do auction purchases, but you can buy from any dealership in Japan, and we can help negotiate or speak with them about details on the car, and then export it to you that way as well. Okay, everyone loves this engine, the 1UZFE, known to be ultra reliable, 250 horsepower. Toyota's kind of big play into the V8 area. Since then, other V8s have come out. The UZ was common, had many generations, 1UZ, 2UZ, 3UZ, and so on. It is quite interesting. I've never seen it in this generation, actually. Most of the Crown Majestas we bought were a little bit newer than this. Like the next generation after this tended to be really popular. But this is, I think, the first time that I've seen one of these in detail, and it is lovely. I adore the Crown Majestas. One level up from the Crown, maybe about the same level as the Celsior, which is also known as the LS400, and a little bit of a smaller body, but quite a nice package overall. Now, something here is really interesting. Take a look. It's got this plastic snorkel-y thing. So there's an air intake here behind the grille, and then that goes into the engine cover. I'm not sure why you need extra cooling for the top of the engine. You certainly don't see that in other 1UZ cars. It isn't the air intake, because here's the air intake through the air filter and into the intake plenum. It's just for air circulation, probably around the coil packs or something like that. Kind of interesting, but Toyota thought of engineering it, including provisions for airflow, attachment onto the hood there. Yeah, kind of weird, interesting, a little bit different. Okay, not sure if I mentioned this has 66,000 original kilometers, so a very nice low mileage one. Overall condition I think is pretty good. You can give it maybe an 8 to 9 out of 10. Comes with the cool digital gauge set, kind of a throwback to the 80s Toyotas. Okay, and we will come back to that. Currently 65,925 kilometers. AC feels like it is not that cold. Let's see if we can change the temperature. Aircon temp. Let's put that all the way down. I should have checked the AC already, and yes, it is. It works nice and well. Okay, let's switch that off. That's rear AC. Actually, rear and front AC on this. And swing vents. Do you see them? They're swinging back and forth. Very cool. Off. Okay, now this one was originally a non-touchscreen version that was converted to a touchscreen version. These cars, you could buy them in either version depending on which spec that you got it in. Same thing goes with the Aristo. And it comes with all of the pieces, I believe all the pieces that you need to convert it back to the original version if that's what you want. But the touchscreen here is in very good condition. Those screens can fail, so it might be a good idea to hold on to those parts. Okay, we believe that this car was not in an accident. Okay, we don't have an auction sheet to read for you, so I'll just go once around. Before I do that, I just want to point out something. Have a good look at the front of it, and you'll notice that it's kind of gold over here and kind of silver over here. I think that the car has sustained some UV damage to only one side. It was probably parked maybe next to some windows or something, and this entire side here has a gold tinge to the two-tone bottom section. I quite like the gold tinge, but it's not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be silver. You probably can't repair that without repainting it. It doesn't highly stand out because it is only visible on one side. You don't get a chance to compare it to the other side that much. But here again on the back, you can kind of see the gradation of color. Speaking of the back end here, I love this. This is one of the coolest looking back ends, in my opinion, of Toyota cars. The way that the tail light has the crease in it to half wrap around there, the straight line that comes down here and very slightly bulges out for the top of the tail light, and then the flat trunk. I believe it's quite nice and stately. Very nicely designed car. I like the Celsiors. I like all these big body Toyotas. I feel like the Crown's my favorite. They made a station wagon version of the Crown too that I adore, and you can get that in either four-wheel drive or turbo 1JZ, or 1JZ if you want to pronounce it that way. Okay, it has the lights on the top here, which are very cool. They light up when you turn your headlights on. You can see them from the driving position. It also has a heads-up display on the front window to show you your speed. Nice clear headlights because they're made out of glass, so those won't fade. Okay, let's take a look at details now. The grille has a little bit of paint peeling on it. Okay, the front bumper has a few scratches over here. So some pretty deep ones there, some scratches here, and some scratches there. Now most of the scratches, maybe even all the scratches on the car, are on the bumpers. So if you are going to repaint it back into the original color, you can fix that at the same time, and any of these other scratches. It has some very mild rock chips, like right here and right here. Those are the only two that I noticed. There might have been another one that I didn't notice. These are fog lights in here. Toyota used to do this, put one headlight and then have a different beam inside for the fog light and for the headlight. Okay, now we come around here, a few minor scratches there. The hood and the fender look great. Going down here, we have some large scratches on the door here. Now, half of them have been touched up with touch-up paint. I don't know why you do this. Start going across, touching it up, and then just stop. So you got two large scratches. Both of them have half of them touched up. Kind of weird. Some mild scratching here. I believe something like that should have been visible in the pictures from the dealership, but I don't actually know. This is the buyer of this was working with Grant, not with me, so I don't know what was communicated, what was visible, what the dealer said, blah, blah, blah. There's some of the clear coat. You can actually see the difference in the color here because the clear coat has peeled away for this section. Okay, the rest of the back bumper is pretty good. We have a little bit of a score there. A nice large trunk for a 3-box. The trunk comes way out, and for a 4-door sedan, it's a very fast back window, which is part of the styling of this. Very unique styling. Kind of chunky, aerodynamic, but at the same time kind of not. I don't really know. You kind of have to experience it in real life to get the wonder of it. V8 badging. Majesta over there. No, it says Majesta. It's actually a Crown Majesta. Try to Crown Majesta. And then later on, they came with like the 2.5 liter V6. It used to be that the Majesta, though, was the V8 version of the Crown. There's some minor knocks in the door in a few places. Chrome door handles. Okay, looking good. All right, so here you can see the heads-up display has a reflector on the windshield. Going to the interior, I'm going to show you the rear first because it has a couple of cool things. Sadly, no fridge. Crowns, older Crowns used to have cool boxes in the back. This one doesn't. You could typically open this and then there would be another box inside where you can keep cold drinks. But the seats here, very nice. They are power seats so that you can put them in a semi-reclined seating position. This moves forward a little bit. And there are controls for left and right here. You also get cup holders in here and a storage compartment with a cigarette lighter adapter. You have rear separate AC. Toyota Crown Majesta. So you can set the temperature there. You also have audio controls and TV controls there. There's the TV up there. Controls here for the seat. You see that in the big body Toyotas and Nissans. This allows the driver to move the seat forward and backward to give the passenger room if they need it. Floor carpets are unabashedly Japanese and quite nice. I like that. Nice high plush carpet. Okay, inside doesn't smell of cigarettes. It's in good condition. I don't know if they're wool seats, but I don't think so. I know Toyota did wool seats on some of their higher end cars. I think you could spec a Crown with them. These might be, but I don't think so. And then the Century had the wool seats. Wool obviously is a much more expensive fabric and higher end fabric than your typical synthetic seats. I think these are synthetic. Usually the wool ones would have a little tag that says that from like the manufacturer of the fabric. And I don't see that on these ones. Okay, so full power seat there, including lumbar support and up and down on front and back of the bottom cushion. Power windows are fine. It is a Toyota. You're not going to have problems with the power windows, most likely. A little bit of wear on the steering wheel on the outside here. Okay, power folding mirrors are good. Power trunk pop is good. Crown floor mat. Toyota Crown. It's funny that the Crown is like the benchmark of the industry here in Japan, and yet they don't sell the Crown in North America. So everything in here is pretty normal. That touchscreen has a Navi screen in it that obviously you wouldn't be able to use outside of Japan. Has controls for changing the temperature in your AC and turning on the rear AC as well. Has a tape deck of all things. 1994 was still using the tape deck, I guess. CD changer is in the trunk. I think like the typical Toyota one is 6 discs. Shifting is nice and good. This thing here dates back to the 1980s Crowns. It uses the same mechanism to open and close, and then has a pretty large place to put things. Secondary console here with the floor mat covers stuffed in there, just because I want to show you what the carpets look like. Traction control off. Height, norm. Oh, this is air suspension. Cool. I saw the tops of the struts, and I should have said something, but I didn't. Air suspension high or normal. You can get an aftermarket controller to have very, very low suspension on there. If you really like that kind of thing. Power and snow modes, coin collector here, ashtray that's never been used. Nowadays cars often don't come with ashtrays because fewer people smoke. Yeah, nice place to be. And I guess one other thing I can show you is these back lights. One light per side has adjusters, so that you can point these more toward you, and they have little settings for number of clicks. That one over there, same thing. Okay, so quite good condition, 8 to 9 out of 10, 25-year-old Toyota Crown. Still lots and lots of life left in it. Very cool, classic car. Okay, so that's all for now. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.